Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one here, I want to talk about the season 10 finale and all the news that we learned because Angela Kang did an interview this week, or I guess like a day ago or so. I'm not exactly sure when this was done, but she talked about all the questions that we have about the season 10, or I guess episode 15, things that happened, and I guess all the questions we have about the season 10 finale. So I want to go through all of it because there's a few things that she said that we already kind of speculated on and we kind of know, but there's things that she did say that I'm really hyped for. So I want to talk about all of that. So of course, before we go any further, I do have to warn you for spoilers for The Walking Dead season 10, episode 15. Also, I will be doing that Q&A video, so stay tuned for that. But let's just jump in. So the first thing that I do want to talk about, because I found it, I wouldn't say it's the most interesting, but it was one of the most interesting things, was that the princess, obviously in the comic, she's known as the Princess of Pittsburgh, and we all kept referring to her as that. Not mostly, I think we mostly called her Princess, but she is the Princess of Pittsburgh. Well, obviously on the show, they never went to Pittsburgh, right? And so she was asked about that in an interview with comicbook.com, which, by the way, I will leave a link to the article down below because you can see what she actually said. In here, I'm just discussing what she said, giving my thoughts on what she said. But the reason why she didn't go with Pittsburgh for the show, for Where to Meet the Princess and all that, was because Gimple actually asked them to not go in that area because of something going on in the Walking Dead universe. So that I found interesting because that basically confirms that that's Rick related, right? Obviously, because that area is being saved for Rick, and I think if they went in that area, it would definitely ruin a lot of what to expect with the movies, because we don't know what Pittsburgh looks like right now. Is it heavily fortified by the CRM, or do they have some underground base, or you know what I mean? Going there would definitely spoil that, so it makes sense that he wouldn't want any of our characters to get anywhere near there. And we already knew that it was going to be Pittsburgh or somewhere close to that because of the skyline for the Rick movie. I don't remember exactly where it is, but I know it was near Pennsylvania, or it was somewhere around there. So that is kind of interesting because that is one thing that was affected by the Rick Grimes movies, right? Like from adapting material from the comic. They couldn't go to Ohio and have the princess in Pittsburgh and do that storyline and location because the Rick Grimes movie is taking place in that area. Also, one thing I do like and is on the princess, apparently when, I think her name is Paula, not exactly sure how to say her name, but the actress who plays the princess, apparently when they were auditioning for the role, they actually had everyone do an emotional scene and a comedic scene. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I think that's why the character works so well. I know the character does do some emotional stuff in the comic, but maybe it's because you're just reading it. And so, you know, if you're already bored of the character and you're reading all that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter how sympathetic you can feel. You might just feel bored of it because it's just a comic book. You're just looking at pictures, right? When an actress or actor actually performs a part like that, you can see the expression on their face. The whole vibe and tone is just completely changed, right? So I think that was really important, and I'm really happy that they did that, because if they just went for a comedic role and were just focusing on the princess in that way, I definitely think the character would come across as annoying. I think the reason why she actually isn't annoying so far on the show anyways is that she's not always telling jokes, she's not always being like awkward and weird like that. She did that at first, but then she had that downtime where you felt really bad for her, and then overall you can see the full picture of who she is, and yeah, I just don't find her annoying. She's one of my favorite characters right now. Not like a top 10 character, but I like her. That's all I'll say, and I really can't wait to see more of her. Like, I do like her as a character. Now, another thing is something that a lot of us criticized, and it happened between Judith and Daryl. And we also, like, this is something that we speculated on, was that, like, this was the reason, because Judith she said that in the episode, but the way it came across, it was almost like Judith was never going to tell Daryl about it, was that she never told him that Rick was alive. Like, she never told him the real reason her mom left, right? It was because Rick's alive. And the reason was what we thought, was because, you know, she was scared. And even though she did say that in the scene, that she didn't want to say anything about what happened to Michonne or her mom, I guess, because she was worried that Daryl was going to leave. It didn't really come across that way in terms of that's why she didn't tell him about Rick. Like, yeah, that was the reason, but it would make more sense if she told Daryl about the reason why Michonne left. Like, the real reason is because Rick's alive, and then afterwards she said, yeah, I didn't want to tell you because I was worried that you were going to leave. Well, it's overall the same thing, and I think this can actually really work with the character. And I think because a lot of fans brought it up, I think it's going to be definitely a thing that they go into in season 11 for sure. Maybe in the finale, who knows? But if not then, for sure in season 11, like, Judith has like this dark secret. She wants to get into it and tell people about it because it would make a lot of people happy. Like her little brother RJ, you know, for him to know, it might start making her feel really bad to the point where she does eventually confess it, and then we learn the real reason, right? So I'm okay with it. Like, if they're gonna do this as a part of a storyline for season 11, like for Judith, then yeah, I can see how that can definitely work. And who knows, they can probably go in different directions with it, but yeah, I'm happy that at least there's still a path where Judith can still tell people about him. Now, another one was something that I actually wanted to mention in my review, but I totally forgot. But the hospital that we see Beta arrive to isn't the same hospital that Beth died in. Well, at least in terms of the show, because the locations are completely different. Angela Kang was asked about this, and she didn't even know. Like, she just said, I don't know, we use a bunch of different locations. So because it looks so familiar, I think they likely filmed in this location. Obviously, that the setting's a little different. They probably filmed in this location, and she just doesn't remember. Maybe she wasn't a part of it then, because that was back in season 5. She was a writer then, but maybe she wasn't near there, or, you know, like, they filmed so much, like, it would be hard for her to remember everything. So yeah, as of now, it's possible that it was the same location that they filmed in for sure, but not confirmed or anything. But definitely it's not the same place that Beta walked to, because, well, I think most people already know that. I think most, you know, but some people, they thought they went back to Atlanta or something like that, which really isn't the case. Angela Kang also teased Beta versus Negan, and it was more in the sense that she was talking about things to expect, and she was like grouping characters together. Like, she was saying, like, Carol is going to be like this, Daryl will be doing things like this character will be doing stuff like that, and Beta and Negan, and she combined them both, which I think hints or teases that, yeah, that is definitely going to happen. We are going to get Beta versus Negan, which we kind of have to, because imagine a Whisper War on the television show without getting that, right? That was probably the one, like, one of the most iconic moments of the war was getting those two to fight, because they're two badass characters. Having them fight like that, getting that iconic comic moment is just super exciting, right? It'll definitely be really thrilling to see, and I think we'll wrap up, you know, what they've been building to all season, which is Beta's hate for Negan. And Negan's not really a fan of Beta either. But yeah, so that's definitely going to be happening, and I'm super excited to see where that goes, because like, they're likely going to go in different directions with it. Negan might actually kill Beta in that scene. Daryl, like I've been saying for a while, he might save Negan, right? And then he's responsible for killing Beta. Maybe they both team up or something. I don't know. But because of the location and the situation they're in, it's going to be very different. The point is, the fight is going to be happening, and I'm just excited for it. Now, another moment that she did talk about, which also I am really excited about, was she said, well, she focused on all the core characters like Carol, Daryl, Beta, and Negan. She talked about Maggie a little bit. But she also mentioned Gabriel, which is kind of weird, because why wouldn't she mention Eugene, Rosita, Jerry, Ezekiel, or any of them? She didn't mention any of them. She just focused on Gabriel among the main characters like Carol, Daryl, and stuff like that, right? And she said that Gabriel is going to be stepping up as a leader in the finale. So I think that was a hint that he is going to die, that this is going to be a very Gabriel-focused episode. Obviously, she wasn't teasing that he was going to die or anything like that, but just her bringing him up like that, I feel like hints that he's going to have a big story in the finale. I mean, we saw in the trailer, he was heavily focused, right? So I think this is more proof that Gabriel is likely going to die in the finale. I hope it's Beta that kills him, and I do hope he gets his comic death. And if you guys haven't read the comic, I won't spoil all that for you here. You guys can go check it out, but it's pretty gruesome, and I would say one of the, I guess, most brutal deaths in the Walking Dead comic. Obviously, there's other ones that are really insane, but this one is very graphic, I guess you could say. And she also teased that when Maggie returns and stuff, it's going to be more meaningful, I guess, and that she is going to have a big role and big story, I guess, for season 11, because she is going to be a series regular in season 11, which I think makes sense, because obviously if the character is returning and in this big way, that she would be returning as a regular, right? A season regular again. So I think because she's going to have a big role and probably be the main motivator for the story of season 11, I think she's going to return with the Commonwealth, at least a variation of that. She'll know of them. She'll know how to deal with them. Maybe she's worked with them. Maybe she doesn't like them. Maybe she's been working with them and she knows more about them, and there's more of a feud there, because maybe she's trying to get Alexandria and the Hilltop to join the Commonwealth. And so there's kind of a feud here, because some people want to join the Commonwealth because of what they have, but someone like Daryl definitely doesn't want to, because the Commonwealth deals with, they have a social class. Basically, whatever you were before the apocalypse happened is what you're going to be now. And so for someone like Daryl, he was nothing. Whereas now in the apocalypse, he actually is someone and actually can help out and be really important. In the Commonwealth way of thinking and in that world, he is going to be no one, and he'll be left on the streets or whatever. So there'll be some interesting things that they can do there. And Maggie and Daryl have always saw eye to eye for the most part, because Daryl has always felt so bad about Glenn's death. And I think they just really connected a lot. Well, this could split them apart. And the only reason why I'm saying Maggie is more on the Commonwealth side is because in the comic, she actually, I'm pretty sure, becomes the president or the governor or whatever of the Commonwealth. And you can kind of see that with the character. She's always been a leader. Like, if you're going to pick out of any of the characters, who should be the leader of the Hilltop or Alexandria. I would definitely go with Maggie, because that's what Rick said back in season 8, right? He said, I'm going to follow you now. And I do think Maggie is probably a way better leader than Rick, because she can actually think things through. Whereas with Rick, he goes with his heart and just in the moment sort of thing, right? Which could be bad, sometimes really good, and he'll end up kind of fixing it like all along the way. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I will be talking about Maggie and the Commonwealth and what that means for season 11 later on, but not in this video or anything, but just in a future video. But yeah, it's interesting. And then she just talked about the release of the finale, but there's nothing new there. It's just, you know, they're finished the episode almost. They might have a week and a half done, or something like that. They're really close. So once all of what's going on in the world right now is over, they can work on it, and then within a week or two, I guess, have more of an idea of when they're going to release it, update us on all of that, and then yeah, we'll be able to watch the finale, which as of now, I'm thinking is going to be late summer, early fall. Maybe just the fall, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's what we learned about the season 10 finale. I just wanted to go over that because I never talked really about what Angela Kang had to say about the finale. I just, you know, I was giving my thoughts and predictions. I wanted to go through what she actually said. So yeah, it's interesting. But I'll leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys are all thinking about the season 10 finale. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.